Hey you guys, it's Britt tonight. We're here to talk for a few minutes about the Ballinger family. They just have announced their new way of asking subscribers for money, and I had quite a few thoughts. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so I was sent this post from the Colleen Ballinger Snark subreddit, and I was immediately interested because I have not only covered the Ballinger family, but I've also covered kind of my thoughts on YouTube channel memberships, things like via YouTube or whether it's on Patreon or Instagram subscriptions. I just have had some very blunt thoughts on YouTube memberships because in my opinion, a lot of times what's happening is people are opening up this new stream of revenue for themselves, and from what I can see, they're not getting they're not giving these paying members anything that is worth a damn dollar. You know, so I've been very direct in the I've had dog hair. I've been very direct in how I feel about member programs in the past, so some of y'all that know how I feel about that, this might come to not a big surprise, depending on how long you've been watching my channel. First, we're going to cover the membership thing. Then I also want to hit on Jessica Ballinger continuing to talk and share her thoughts about her sister-in-law Colleen Ballinger being, quote, canceled by all of these haters and trolls online, and also, you know, basically calling Adam McIntyre a flat-out liar. And I have many things to say about that. So let's just start with their announcement. So she said, "We are thrilled," in all capital letters. So get excited. It's, you know, break records. She's so thrilled. "We are thrilled to announce our new members only option for our channel. Our goal is to provide a safe and joyful space for our community. You want to make a safe and joyful space for the people that are willing to pay you a selected amount of money every month." She's not speaking to everybody. She's speaking to the people who are willing to give them extra money every single month. So this is not, hey, I want our channel where I upload content to be a safe space. That's not what she's saying here. She's saying if you are willing to give me some of your cash dollars, then we're going to create this safe and joyful space where it's, you know, pay to enter. But she continued and said, "If you are under 18, we require you have parental permission to join and include trusted adults in your life to guide your online activity. We hope you can be a part of this journey." I think it's very interesting how she's asking these people, you know, because she knows for a fact minors watch their content. She knows for a fact that she is setting an example of explaining your kids is okay to these other young minds that are consuming the Ballinger family content. She is putting out an example of this is okay, and doing things like responding in comments saying that she's keeping her children away from Trent, but then claiming that Colleen is exempt. If you're going to say that Trent is bad and you're acknowledging that what he did was bad, even though he was told by family members to stop talking to minors and he continued to do it, why are you willing to believe those receipts, but then you're not willing to believe anybody that has come forth with proof against Colleen? To me, that's very hypocritical. I just found that part to be very interesting because she is acknowledging that kids watch their content, and she's also now all of a sudden asking kids to count on the adults in their life to guide them through their online journey. I never heard her be this loud before about making sure that kids were being guided by adults when they're spending time online. You guys correct me if I'm wrong down below, as always. But that was their little announcement. That was their little announcement. And if you're wondering about the prices for this, you can join for $4.99, $9.99, or $24.99 a month. Their badges, their channel membership badges, are literally cartoons of their children, which is so weird and creepy. The only tier that gives you access to member-only live streams, which is usually like across the board. If you're a member of a channel, then you get to access the live streams. It's kind of standard from what I've seen personally. And you have to pay $24.99 a month to access their member-only live streams. So whatever, people were in the comments saying, you know, hey, I'd like to support your channel, but I can't. Like, you know, inflation is no joke. People are having a hard time putting food on their own tables. So I just find this to be an attempt to have their own little echo chamber, their own little fan club of only people who support the Ballinger'S. And that, of course, includes Trent, Colleen, Rachel, people like JoJo, people like James Charles, people like Shane Dawson, who I just realized still follows Colleen. So for me personally, them announcing the memberships is not only exposing that money is going down, and they need to make sure that they're staying afloat because they count on their kids to pay their bills. But secondly, it's also an attempt for them to have a safe space where people respect predator protectors, and that's not a club that I would ever want to be a part of. So good luck with their memberships, but let's move on to her continuing to talk about the situation in comment sections. Like I said in my other video, the fact that she is talking about this so loud and proud is alarming to me. It also confirms that they do not have a PR person, because any PR person would have told her, no, you do not do this in comment sections. This is a terrible idea, and you are not preserving your clean, squeaky family image by going back and forth with your subscribers in the comments. Let's start at the top. The comment that started all of this was, yikes, JoJo, Hope James isn't there. I am just so disappointed. I've been watching your videos since child was little, and I just can't support this behavior of being surrounded by people who are problematic. Makes me sad. Someone else responded and said, I think that everyone reading your comment will understand and will appreciate your choices in life. I don't think she was even asking for your appreciation. Nobody is seeking validation or appreciation. Anybody who is seeking appreciation by voicing their concern about the Ballinger family, that's not what we're here for. I'm not trying to speak for her, but this is very frustrating. Like, nobody asked for your appreciation. What? And from there, it can go in one of two directions. You extending the same to others or not. And if you do, kudos to you. Take care and have a good life. If you don't, we will continue seeing your comments here, and they will be similar to this one. We all have a choice. So basically, this person is saying, if you still want to support the Ballinger family, then you're free to have your comments. But if you are not supporting the Ballinger family, then we don't want to see your comments. We don't want to see your thoughts and opinions. Someone else responded and said, listen, this is the first comment I have left since before the Colleen information broke. I've held my tongue and didn't say anything. However, I was disappointed in this video because of the person they're trying to promote and who this person surrounds herself with, obviously referring to JoJo. It's my choice to tell them how hurt I am that they are still making these kinds of choices when I've been such a supporter and let them know I can't support them anymore. I've unsubscribed, so thanks, but that comment was unnecessary, and I completely agree. As long as people are not being rude, hateful, they are fully entitled to leave their thoughts and opinions. It is up to the channel owner whether or not that comment stays there, because it's their channel. But as far as having comments shot down like that, it's ridiculous. So another response says, I hear you, and I am sure people who know you will care. Another response, I also think a lot of people who don't know me also care, which is completely valid. I hope you have a nice day. Another response, yes, me too. I'm sure a lot of people do. That is what trolling is. Would you let go of a friend because of people who never met her friends, but have opinions on her? If I were your friend, I would hope that you wouldn't, but I am not, so whatever. This is the whole idea of people being so parasocially connected to somebody, thinking that they know these people. You do not know any of these YouTubers. You don't know them. You don't know their character. You don't know who they are behind closed doors. You don't know me. You don't know who I am behind closed doors. Do I present the most transparent, authentic version of myself that I'm comfortable with publicly on my YouTube channel? I do. Absolutely. Always have. Always will. But there are a lot of things that you guys don't know about me. And that's just the nature of watching somebody who creates content. And if somebody comes on and says, oh, you guys know me better than anyone else, blah, 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 that's a red flag for me. Because those are the ones that are usually exposed for being pieces of garbage behind the scenes. Another response is, we don't know JoJo. They do. I don't stop being friends with people just because someone finds them to be problematic. Although I don't know what serious offense JoJo has committed. And this is where Jessica chimes in, and that's the part that I covered in my other video. So I'm not going to read her response. I'll link that video down below. But I want to talk about this because this goes so far beyond JoJo Siwa being problematic or being shady or being toxic or, you know, whatever. This is what we call the Predator Protectors Club. And if you are a member of a Predator Protectors Club, then you have garbage morals. I don't think that you have any moral compass, and I think that you should stay away from children because you are protecting dangerous individuals. And anybody who is going to openly be inappropriate with children are people that should not be protected. So this person continues after Jessica basically chimed in and stood up for JoJo and said everything was gossip and, you know, a bunch of trolls. They responded and said, I appreciate the response and I'm glad that you were able to see my comment and not remove it. You're right, I don't know you personally or any of these people, but it's really hard to get past her being friends with James and all of the things he'd admitted to doing in the past. I am not worried about the people supporting JoJo. I am worried about JoJo supporting the wrong people. Again, that's what puts her in that protector category, which is absolute garbage. She continued and said, you guys were who I watched to get me through some of the worst times in my life and help put a smile on my face. The family you've created is beautiful, and I do wish all of you the best. I'm sorry if my comment was a bit harsh, but I've just wanted to say something for a long time and didn't until now. I don't think the comment was harsh. I think that it was too much truth for Jessica Ballinger to actually absorb and think about without wanting to just do exactly what she did and word vomit, word salad all over the comment section here. Someone else said, amen, I've been calling it the crazy conclusion mob mentality. There is no mob. There are people here that simply see the issues with people like James Charles, Corey, Trent, Colleen, and people that support those nasty individuals like JoJo and Shane Dawson and Manny MUA. All of these people deserve to be called out. Point blank, period. And simply because a large group of people who are consuming this content have the same idea of, hey, this is really scummy and it's not cool to literally build a platform off being inappropriate and being ableist, and then you're being all weird with minors in DMs and you have a brother who's being sexually inappropriate with a minor behind DMs. Like, when all of this comes out and everybody says, wow, that's wild and crazy and we don't support that, that is not the mob mentality. That's just a lot of people having some intelligence about a really awful situation and coming to the same conclusion. That's the only conclusion, is the one that we have seen, and it's not baseless. So here's the original commenter again. And they said, it's such a slap in the face to leave this shady comment. when I was saying how I felt about being associated with JoJo because of the people that she supports and brings her fans to a terrible individual. She's young and I get it, and I don't know any of you guys, but it's very apparent that you couldn't care less about the reasoning why your fans are unsubscribing. It's not because I don't enjoy your videos and that you make a safe and happy space for everyone, and then telling me to leave if that's not what I'm looking for when I've watched your channel for almost a decade because it was my happy place. Like, come on, guys. And you liking the shady replies in this thread about me having a mob mentality is absolutely crazy, because that is absolutely not the case. And here goes Jessica again. She said, I am so confused. I did not tell you to leave, but I will always support anyone's decision to unsubscribe or unplug for a while. I support your decision. If you are happy here, then please stay. If not, please find a space that brings you peace and joy. Do not come here and accuse anyone of being a terrible individual. This is not the place for that. Edited to add, I saw the part about you thinking I had like to comment about you specifically having a mom mentality. I did not interpret that about being about you. It was a response to my comment, and I was under the impression that they were responding to my mention of gossip, not you directly. She responds again, Jessica. It is actually gossip. I haven't seen any proof of that. Here's the thing, guys. Like with the James Charles thing, there's been mountains of proof. With the Colleen Ballinger thing, there's been mountains of proof. With the Trent Ballinger thing, there's been mountains of proof. So at this point, I'm not going to chase my tail and say, oh, well, this is that and that's that. And we have literal first-hand accounts, which I'm choosing to trust because Joshua David Evans has, at this point, zero reason to come out 7 years later and basically tell everybody who Colleen Ballinger is. He could have continued to stay quiet. For Jessica to act like this, you know, oh, I'm so naive. What's going on? What accusations? Why is so-and-so so bad? It's this clueless kind of persona that she's putting out of peace, love, and positivity while simultaneously co-signing people like James Charles, her sister-in-law, her brother-in-law, JoJo Siwa. All of these people, you are telling everybody, unless you approve of these people who I cross-promote with, and even if they're part of the Protector Club, unless you are here to co-sign what I'm doing and what my family is doing, then you need to go away, or just make sure that you don't leave any comment with any kind of disagreeing language in it. So the original commenter decided to respond again and said, okay, I don't want you guys to think that I'm only doing this for a response. It's not my intention. I guess taking your statement that if I don't find this a happy space anymore, then it's fine to unsubscribe was taken the wrong way, because reading messages like that can be misconstrued because of the deliverance and the person reading it. I'm simply saying that JoJo endorses and supports somebody who we all know has apologized for terrible things, for the terrible things that he has done, and apologized to his victims. So that's where I'm coming from when I say that. I'm only talking about one person, and it's who JoJo is endorsing with her very large following. I understand she's young and we don't know each other, like I said, but it also doesn't seem that you care if your fans are disappointed, and that hurts my feelings. I'm not looking for sympathy. I comment one thing and it blows up in my face. It's not a platform for people to have their voices heard. Maybe a bit of constructive criticism? No, that is not allowed on family vlogger channels. That is absolutely not allowed. No criticism allowed. She continued and said, in the decade I've been watching and commenting on your vlogs and buying your sweatshirt and merch, this is the post where I get eaten alive and receive the most communication from you guys that I've ever had, and it's this comment. I'm just upset. She continued and said, any proof of what? James Charles' apology video about the things that he's done underage boys, which he speaks about in the video and calls them his victims, because there is proof of that, if that's what you're referring to. Jessica jumps back in it. It is really funny. All of this discourse is because she was offering up a different opinion. YouTubers don't respond to anybody. A lot of them don't respond to DMs, and no, I'm not saying every single one, but a lot don't respond to comments. They don't acknowledge comments. They don't acknowledge emails, DMs, nothing. But if you leave a negative comment, guaranteed, out of a lot of them, especially these types with the fragile egos, will absolutely give you the attention. And it's because you're offering something that is not in their little echo chamber. I've talked about this for 3 years. So Jessica says, I don't want you to feel like you are getting eaten alive. I think people are just disagreeing with you. Okay, Jessica, and she was disagreeing with you. People have disagreements. It's called being an adult. Jessica continues, if anyone attacks you, I will delete their comments. I don't have any idea what James has apologized for because I don't get involved in that stuff because of how I've seen it exaggerated and how extreme it can be, mostly for other people to generate clickbait and attention. But I'm hearing all this from you, and he's apologized multiple times for something, and now JoJo is friends with him. That sounds like a very normal human response. We should all aim to be more forgiving as a society. No. See, what we're not going to do is forgive predators and allow them to continue to make millions of dollars on the platforms that they abused and used as a dating pool or a pool to have inappropriate parasocial connections with children. That's what we're not going to do. And by you expecting people's opinions to be quiet or, oh, hush, hush, quiet down a little bit because you guys are being a little bit too loud about how disgusting James Charles is telling me everything I need to know about Jessica Ballinger. Okay, we have a little bit left. We're about halfway. I know this video is going to be longer, but throw it on and clean the house or go, take your dog for a walk or do something because there's no visuals. But I want to get through this because I just find this to be so wild, the back and forth that she was engaging in. So the commenter said, I can understand that and understand how your children have grown up with JoJo and how upset they would probably be if that relationship had to be removed. But I'm not going to go into the James thing anymore because I don't want to type the wording and to say what he's admitted to. Uploaded an apology video and then removed it because he implicated himself. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and I don't know if I jumped the gun, and if I did, I'm sorry. But I do stand by what I said. With JoJo bringing her large audience to support someone who has a lot of proven facts about illegal things he's done, it just worries me. I think Jessica is acting very naive and stupid in this situation. I think that she's acting clueless by design because what else is she going to say? Oh yeah, I know about what James did, but I don't really give a shit. Because that's the other option. And I think that she does know a lot more about James than she is leading on in this kind of back and forth that she's engaging in. And again, I think that it confirms the lack of morals that she has and the people that she is okay surrounding herself with. Jessica responded again and said, I wasn't responding to you there, but now you will probably get a good idea of how all this works. I was responding to someone who was making an accusation about Colleen, saying that I haven't seen any proof of their accusation. So why don't you educate yourself? Why don't you go look at Adam McIntyre's videos? Why don't you go watch the H3 podcast where there were tons of updates provided from people that were negatively impacted by Colleen? And no, I'm not talking about Johnny Silvestri. Throw him in the bin. But I am talking about everybody else that she negatively impacted, and they have spoken loud and presented everything in black and white. So why don't you educate yourself on what your sister-in-law has been doing instead of trying to say that people are using her name for clicks and views? I am so tired of that argument. So tired of it. Listen, coming forth with things like this usually gets you more kickback than it does support. Because the first time that Adam McIntyre tried to tell his story, half the damn internet came for him. Simultaneously, Colleen Ballinger was running a hate campaign behind the scenes also against him, trying to intimidate him and take him down, which luckily did not work. But, I mean in the physical sense. But he did, quiet down for a long time because he was doxxed, he was harassed, he was threatened by her fans, and she was pulling the strings, just like the evil mastermind that she is. And I don't usually accuse people of running things behind the scenes until I see actual evidence. And we have seen her participation level in the hatred that Adam was getting. So are you saying that the first time that Adam McIntyre came out and shared his story, you didn't believe any of the proof that he shared in that video? And now you're also saying that 3 years later, when mountains of proof has come out, you still haven't seen any evidence? Like you're over here in La La Land, just like totally unplugged and unaware of what the hell your sister-in-law is doing? Proof, please. Jessica continued and said, they will get a ton of views and make claims about my reputation. No, we just call it for what it is. We don't need to make claims. You put all your stuff out on Front Street. And most people have the same opinions that using your children to gain popularity on social media and oversharing about them and not properly giving them a private childhood is wrong. So we don't need to make assumptions or rumors. At least, I'll speak for myself here. We can look at the content that you are producing and say, don't really care for this. Don't really like her. Don't really care for Chris. I also want to say real quick, up until this summer, the backlash that would come from covering the Ballinger family was not worth the mediocre amount of views that those videos get. But it was an important message to me, so I continued to talk about it. Despite the fact that they're just super abrasive, totally like manipulating my messages, fans would come into my comment sections and leave the most ugly, heinous comments. Some of them were in the middle of the road, and those I left, but obviously, for a lady who claims to be so peace, love, and positivity, the Ballinger family fans are some of the most just, wow. I mean, some of the things that y'all say to people who simply have an opinion that, hey, maybe you shouldn't build an empire off the backs of your kids and they deserve privacy, just send some of y'all over the edge. But either way, she continued and said, then they will attack anyone who supports us and encourage more people to attack us. That's the mob mentality. Okay, so the same can be said for the Ballinger family stands who seek out anybody who has an opposing opinion and will just send them all the hatred under the sun. So I guess it's a two-way street there. She finished and said, it's happening, and it's happening ferociously, and people are profiting from it and destroying good people in the process. Thank you, and thank you for your discussion. I genuinely wish the best for you. Whatever, Jessica. She also threw in here that all she has seen is alleged, not proof. If there is any proof, I hope it's taken to the proper authorities. And then she also goes into the Trent Ballinger conversation, which I've covered previously. What I want to say about Jessica Ballinger is she has so little self-awareness for what she's even dealing with. Like, at this point, you can't have a productive conversation with somebody like her because she is just so, she has her heels dug in so deep because she knows that what's she gonna do? Acknowledge that Colleen has victims? What's she gonna do? Acknowledge that Colleen was actually wrong in a lot of the stuff that she was doing? No, she's not going to do that. It's her sister-in-law, and frankly, I think a lot of people are scared to death of Colleen Ballinger, and I think that it sucks because people like that should not be in a place of power where other people are intimidated to that level. But Jessica's obviously trying to protect her little Ballinger family name, her business, her profits, the way that they make money. And I just think that it's all so ridiculous to sit there and be like, oh, people are hating on me. People are hating on me. Like, this is not hating. We're talking about real issues with actual people that were negatively impacted by literally Jessica Ballinger's family members. And if you dare say anything that is middle of the road or not in her favor, then I guess that's the way that you'll get a response. But it's not even a productive response. It's just running around in circles, and then eventually she'll lead you back to this point where she's making herself a victim, while simultaneously not acknowledging that James Charles has victims, Ginger C was supporting him, Colleen Ballinger has victims, Trent Ballinger has victims. So the whole thing is just a disastrous mess, and I just still find it shocking that she was going back and forth like that in a comment section with people. So if you've been wondering about how to get a comment response from Jessica Ballinger, and you've been a watcher of every single one of their vlogs for the last 10 years like this person, go leave some constructive criticism, and maybe she will battle you in the comment replies. But whatever, I'll see what you guys have to say about all of this. I will link the other 2 videos that cover other statements that she made in my description box, and if you guys want to check those out, go for it. But yeah, what a mess. Nevertheless, for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment, and if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.